Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tillis. Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney General Bondi, at your confirmation hearing in January, made a clear commitment you would not politicize your position. We are here today at your first oversight hearing 9 months into your tenure, at a time when hundreds of career prosecutors have quit because they were required to take unethical actions at odds with that promise.
This heated exchange between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Senator Adam Schiff was not a normal oversight exchange. This was a pressure test on the Justice Department itself, and the cracks were visible from the very first answer.
Or feared that they would have to take such actions if they remained on the job. When over 1,000 former federal prosecutors have sounded the alarm about the unprecedented degree to which the powers of DOJ are being abused to go after the president's enemies. I approach this hearing with a heavy heart. As a former federal prosecutor myself, I served in a department that, whether it was under a Democratic or Republican president, would never use the office to go after the president's enemies or to hide the corruption of his friends. But today, the Justice Department has been used to cover up the possible corruption of the mayor of New York or of a high-level administration official taking $50,000 reportedly in cash in a bag, or a child sex predator who befriended the president and some of his cabinet members. And instead of preventing partisan weaponization, your department has engaged in a brazenly political prosecution at the president's explicit direction. The department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies and to protect himself, his allies, and associates. My questions therefore focus on these two themes: hiding the corrupt acts of his friends and prioritizing the political prosecution of his enemies. So let me start with the shocking allegations of bribery and pay to play. 2 weeks ago, 4 major media outlets reported that Tom Homan, the president's top deportation official working in the White House, took $50,000 in cash in a bag from undercover FBI agents in September 2024, just over a year ago. According to these reports, Homan indicated he would facilitate securing contracts in exchange for money once he was in office in a future Trump administration. Reportedly, this exchange was caught on tape. Rather than pursue this investigation without fear or favor, the department and the FBI under your leadership or that of your predecessor before you confirmed quietly shut it down. Once news broke, your deputy and FBI director issued a joint public statement confirming that the Trump administration closed the investigation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied Homan took the $50,000, telling a reporter, quote, "Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight." So today I hope you can help us get our facts straight. Was that true, what the White House Press Secretary said when she denied Homan took the money? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, as I stated earlier, I was not in office. I was not confirmed when that was handled.
So does that
Deputy Attorney General Blanche and Director Patel said that there was no evidence that Tom Homan committed a crime. Yet now you're putting his picture up to slander him.
No, I'm putting his picture up showing an interview he gave with, I think, Fox, in which he was asked explicitly about these allegations that he took a $50,000 bribe, and he refused to answer. He said he didn't answer the question whether he took the money, so I'm asking you the question. Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, I answered that question multiple times. And frankly,
Well, I don't think, with respect, I don't think you did. But in case I just didn't hear you, what is the answer? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, that happened prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. I said that.
Do you know, sitting here, whether he took the money?
All I know is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So
and,
was she?
Senator Schiff,
was she
if
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your
We can stipulate to, you can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks? You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
But what we're interested in,
borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
You were
asked by my colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question. You were asked by my colleague from Vermont whether you will support providing a video or audio tape, if it exists, of Mr. Holman taking $50,000 in bribe money from the FBI. Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tape or tapes to the committee? Yes or no?
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
Well, I'm talking to you about it. You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision. Will you support?
You don't have to tell me what is my decision and what is not my decision. I said you can talk to Director Patel.
You don't have to try to.
You think you've got a gotcha with Tom Homan, our borders are.
Excuse me.
Who's been out there fighting for our country since Donald Trump took office.
I'm trying to ask a question. Regular order, please. And you don't have to defer to the FBI director to pass the buck. So I'm asking you, will you support a request so that the committee, or indeed I believe the American people, should be able to see that video or audio tape? Will you support that request?
Will you apologize to Donald Trump for trying to impeach him?
I guess the answer is you won't support that request.
After you now know that Joe Biden tried to cover up Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
All right, folks, before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you care about accountability. And let me know your thoughts in the comments as we go, because this hearing raised some serious red flags. I want to talk about this exchange between Senator Adam Schiff and Attorney General Pam Bondi, because what happened here tells us a lot about where the Department of Justice is heading under the Trump administration. And it's not a comforting direction if you care about the rule of law. Schiff came into this hearing calm, deliberate, and clearly prepared. Bondi, on the other hand, came in defensive, evasive, and at times openly hostile. And that contrast matters. Schiff opens by reminding everyone why this hearing matters. 9 months into Bondi's tenure, hundreds of career prosecutors have resigned. Not fired, not reassigned. They quit. People who dedicated their lives to enforcing the law walked away because they believed they were being asked to violate ethics or feared they soon would be. That alone should stop the room cold. Then Schiff ups the ante. Over 1,000 former federal prosecutors, people from across administrations, across parties, have publicly warned that DOJ power is being abused to target political enemies while protecting political allies. And Schiff isn't speaking as a partisan here. He makes a point to say, I was a federal prosecutor. He served under both Democratic and Republican presidents. And in that DOJ, you didn't use the department as a weapon for the president, and you didn't use it as a shield to protect his friends. That's the standard. That's the baseline. And Schiff's argument is simple but devastating. That standard no longer exists. Here's the thing. Schiff wasn't asking Bondi to speculate. He wasn't asking her to reveal classified details. He asked whether the DOJ knows if the money was taken and whether the White House denial was true. Bondi couldn't answer. Not because she didn't understand the question, but because answering it would box her in. If she says no, and evidence later confirms the money changed hands, the DOJ looks complicit in a cover-up. If she says yes, then the DOJ shut down a bribery investigation involving a top Trump official. So instead, she attacks the messenger and accuses oversight itself of being performative. That's not how a Justice Department behaves when it's confident in its integrity. And Schiff makes this clear. This isn't one incident. This is a pattern. Investigations into Trump allies disappear. Prosecutions of Trump critics accelerate. Career prosecutors resign. Oversight questions go unanswered. And the Attorney General responds to scrutiny not with facts, but with loyalty pledges and personal attacks. That's how institutions erode, not all at once, but through moments like this where accountability is treated as hostility. So let's be honest about what we saw here. We didn't see a confident attorney general defending the impartiality of her department. We saw someone circling the wagons, refusing to answer a direct question, and lashing out when pressed. We saw a senator doing exactly what oversight is meant to do, asking uncomfortable questions about corruption, bribery, and selective enforcement, and being told that asking those questions is somehow the problem. And that should concern you no matter where you fall politically. Because when the Justice Department stops answering to Congress, when it shields powerful insiders while punishing perceived enemies, the rule of law becomes conditional. It becomes transactional. It becomes political. And once that happens, it doesn't just affect politicians, it affects everyone. This exchange wasn't loud, it wasn't theatrical, but it was revealing. It showed us a DOJ that no longer feels obligated to explain itself. It showed us an attorney general who equates loyalty with credibility. And it showed us how fragile accountability becomes when power refuses to be questioned. If oversight can be dismissed as 5 minutes of fame, then corruption doesn't even need to hide anymore. It just waits out the clock. And that's why moments like this matter. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Bondi's refusal to answer was about timing or about protecting someone politically connected?